interesting news in the world of gladiators. So this is a find that they've dated to the 3rd century BC, a sarcophagus, where they've got the name of Euphrates, and apparently he was a gladiator. And this was reused. This sarcophagus in the 5th century AD was reused, where additional burials were made within it, and apparently in the context of a Christian burial. So there's actually quite an interesting story in its own sense of this sarcophagus. I'm particularly interested by the whole 3rd century BC gladiatorial stuff, largely because that's really where our gladiatorial stories start to begin. We've got our first accounts of gladiatorial combat in Rome in the 3rd century BC, in 264 BC, both by Valerius Maximus and Livy. They both say that in 264 BC there were funeral games for Brutus Pera by his son Decimus, and I think it's Marcus, and at these 3 pairs of gladiators fought. And that's the beginning of the whole gladiator story at Rome. So to find something that is also linked to the 3rd century BC and may also involve the gladiator is very interesting. Even more so when it's near Ephesus. It's just outside of Ephesus, apparently, which is in Turkey. So this isn't within Rome itself. So there's a lot there that could be very interesting. Now, the articles you'll read about this all come from, I suspect, a central PR release, which is great because it gives you all the standard information you need to know. However, they don't go too much into the gladiatorial rationale. So, for example, it's not arguing why or what the evidence was that this was a gladiator, that his name is Euphrates, though you can imagine how they can work that out, and the other bits and bobs and how they dated it. And that's not me, by the way, disputing in any way. These are experts. I'm just really interested because I want to know more. Because, again, if we can get an exact date, we can start putting this in that 3rd century BC period, which is where we don't have a great deal of information about gladiators, where there's still a lot of fog about what was done, how it was done, and what was understood. And even the word gladiator at that time might have been something that wasn't really used. It was more likely the word bustiari was used, which was in relation to the, I think it's bustiari or bustii, which was the funeral pyre. So there was a link there to the funeral pyre, people fighting at the funeral pyre. That was really what it was. And I think it's argued that gladiator as a word comes a bit later on. Anyway, that aside, this could be really, really interesting. I hope that there's more to come up from it. And if there is any more information to come from it, I'll look forward to sharing it with you on here.